Agile projects are built on trust, and the best way to establish trust is through transparency. Regular demos for users are one of the best ways for teams to be transparent about what progress has been made. Development should not be a black box from the user's perspective. The end user should be able to watch the software developing and provide feedback as it takes shape. Regular demos can help accomplish this. Most users who have experienced a few software development projects are very familiar with projects that are scheduled to take 12 months, but end up spending the first 10 months getting to 90% completion, and another 12 months finishing the remaining 10%. Demos help solve this problem in several different ways. First, demos help focus the development work on pieces of functionality that are actually usable. This may mean building some parts of the application in a simpler way, just so other parts can be demoed. This might seem trivial, but a focus on getting the application to a point where a feature is actually usable makes a huge difference in avoiding the false progress many projects see at the beginning that is followed by a dramatic slowdown at the end. Second, the focus on creating functionality that can be demonstrated means that if the business owners are not happy with the timeline for when software is going to be ready to use, they can cut the scope to finish it sooner. If a team has not been focusing on software that can be demonstrated, the code that has been written is going to be much further from being in a usable state. Even if all the remaining scope is cut, there is still going to be a massive amount of work to get the completed features usable. Third, demos help reduce the amount of rework that occurs. The simple fact is that no matter how hard users and developers try to communicate, there will be times where things will not be clear until they sit down and use the software. The sooner this happens, the less code will be built on incorrect assumptions. I was working with a team that was building some software for the US Treasury that was doing demos every 2 weeks. At one of the demos, the team walked through how to use the application for a particular function. The business owner questioned whether it was following the rules correctly. Some of the users said it was correct, but after some more discussion, it became apparent that there were nuances to the business rules that even the users did not fully understand. Had it not been for the demo, this would not have been discovered until much later on, and much more of the application would have been built on top of the faulty understanding. It's ideal to have an actual user or a business owner controlling the software in a demo. What if they do something that wasn't expected and it breaks? That's exactly why they should be doing it instead of a developer. Demos need to demonstrate real working software. Walking through a series of screen mockups may be useful, but it does not count as a demonstration of working software. Demos should prioritize transparency over polish. If you have to manually load something into the database table to illustrate part of the user interface, do not hide that part from your demo. Everyone needs to know what has been built and what has not. So how often should you do software demos? It depends, but most projects have some sort of cadence that creates a natural place to demonstrate the functionality that has been built. If you're using sprints, it probably makes sense to do a demo at the end of each sprint. If you're not using sprints, you may need to pick something of an arbitrary length of time. For most projects, 2 weeks is usually a reasonable interval. For some projects, 1 week will work better. Some projects even work well with a demo every morning, especially if the developers are working from the other side of the world and demonstrate what they've completed at the end of their workday to stakeholders who are just starting theirs. Keep in mind, demos are establishing trust through transparency. For some high-level stakeholders, the knowledge that you're doing a demo that they could attend may provide a level of trust, even if they're not able to actually be there. There is a tendency to schedule demos around how much work is ready to demonstrate. While no one wants to have a meeting to demonstrate software and not have anything to show, it is important to carefully distinguish between a problem with demos being too frequent and a problem with not building in small enough slices of work. Don't forget you're striving for transparency over polish. If you need to demonstrate how the application lets you fill out a form, but you don't have the page that displays the data, show that the data gets saved into the database. It shows what work has actually been accomplished and maintains the transparency that is vital for high-trust teamwork to occur. If the idea of a software demo makes your organization think of a slick presentation with one person standing on the stage in front of a huge screen walking through a new piece of software, then call the demo something else. Your demos are not to put on a show or make the software look better or more complete than it is. The goal is to honestly communicate what features are complete and how they work. So what's your experience doing software demos? If you have any tips or tricks, please share them in the comments. And if you have any horror stories of software demos gone horribly wrong, please share those as well. If you like these videos, take a moment to subscribe or give the video a thumbs up so more people will see it. If you'd like more information about how to practice Agile in your organization, there's a link in the description to a mailing list you can sign up for. I occasionally send out information about resources I produced or found that are useful for teams that are really wanting to develop their agility. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.